MedProDirect is 100% Canadian-owned distributor of a complete line of high-quality incontinence products, many of which are exclusive to them. As incontinence specialists, MedProDirect offer exceptional service, implementing and supporting an effective continence care program. This sets them apart from the competition and allows them to focus their resources on this critical and costly segment of healthcare in order to better serve their customers. MedProDirect will also help with the government funding application, the process of MSN or Mandatory Special Necessities Benefit, and help to ensure maximum return. Their team in customer care is proactively involved in communicating with the caseworkers in all ODSP offices province-wide to help ensure funding is provided. Let's dive into some strategies for managing incontinence in your home.
Much of our success has been based on our commitment to support and offer choice and individualized assessments. Gone are the days of bulk shipping the same size of products for everyone supported in the home. Clients we help to support all have their own special supplies specific to their daily needs. We currently stock 6 of the top lines of incontinence supplies not found in retail or big box stores. There are a total of 51 different brief options, 46 protective underwear options, and 19 pad and liner choices. These specialty products that we will touch on shortly are designed to fill all different special needs. And what makes us different is that we help the care team or client or family member make an educated choice that best fits the need. Amy and I are excited to have Ruth Naismith join us today. We've worked with Ruth closely over the years in a number of different capacities. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table with her experience as a registered nurse and an incontinence specialist. Ruth will review the product knowledge, application, and best practices, and Amy will then review the MSN process and how we can help navigate the world of ODSP. Ruth?
Well, thank you for the introduction, Jayne, and it's my pleasure to be here with you all this afternoon. My employer is Ontex Global, and they're actually situated in Belgium, beautiful Belgium. And they are the manufacturers of over 30 different brands of products. They have 3 divisions. There's incontinence care, fem care, and also baby care. And I'm privileged to work for the incontinence care side. And it's in that relationship that I've been able to work closely with MedProDirect. Ontex Global is in over 110 companies. Their main manufacturing is in Europe, but they do have plants all over the world now, actually. They're number 2 in Western Europe and number 5, 6 in the world. And one of the beautiful points about Ontex Global is they do have an amazing environmental sustainability program, and it really is wonderful to see that. Now, under the Ontex Global umbrella, they have, as I mentioned, over 30 brands and a large number of private label products. But MedProDirect, and here in Canada, we are thrilled to have both the ID and the Lil brand. The Lil brand has been here. I know MedPro has been carrying it for probably 10 to 12 years. And it has been a solid, beautiful workhorse for them and for those with various ranges of incontinence, but especially those with heavier challenges. Lil has been that as I said, that workhorse. It's a trusted product. People actually ask for the Lil product. And then more recently, we have introduced to the Canadian market the ID brand. People ask me, what does ID stand for? Well, it's incontinence disposables. And all the new research and development is funneled through the ID line. They do have 7 absorbencies, and MedPro has chosen the top few to carry, which really work well with their population and those that they support and care for. There is a whole e-learning platform that comes with the ID program and 360 marketing support. So it really is an all-encompassing brand, and Lil is there too with excellent quality, and people are just familiar with the Lil. So either one, they are excellent, top quality and absorbent products with excellent fit. I just want to review with you briefly a little bit about the composition of our products. Now I'm just going to grab a brief here, happen to have it handy. And I should mention the top sheet first. This is very soft, and what it does, it allows for quick acquisition of fluid through the top, right through to the bottom, to the core. And below this breathable top sheet, there is the ADL, the acquisition and distribution layer. And what that does is when the fluid hits it, it then spreads it across the brief beautifully, so it's not clumping right here in the perineum and the core. It does spread across. And the ADL also allows for the quick first wet. But as we all know, if we're working with products, the second and the third re-wet is equally important to have that quick absorption, and that ADL level certainly does that. In the fluff core, there is fluff, then there's also fluff with the SAPs, those little crystals, super absorbent polymer crystals, and they hold about 50 times their weight in fluid. So once they've pulled that moisture away, it is not going back, and that's the beautiful thing. It's a sort of a hydrophobic layer. It stops anything from going back up, so therefore the skin in the top sheet stays dry, allowing for good skin integrity, which is so vital when clients and loved ones are wearing products. And then the top sheet, the products come with a double indicator line. Many of the ones that you're seeing in the store or in the retail market, they have basically the hot glue line, which I have found on those hot, humid days, I can notice in a stock room that they're already changing color and they've never even been on a body at that point. And so the other line that we have is strictly only activated when fluid hits the product and is filtered through, and that's when that line will change. The double indicator line is beautiful that way. And I should mention that all our briefs have the inner leg cuff, which certainly helps with containment and adds that extra level of protection. Of course, all our products, as you can see here, are latex free. They're all dermatologically tested. The odor control piece is in that core with the SAP. The absorbency level, the testing on our ability to absorb quickly is a market leader. And of course, they are all breathable. And I'll speak about the whole breathability later. And the soft cotton feel is so important for those wearing it. Now, the question is, what do you use? How do you know, am I to put on a liner, protective underwear, or a brief? How do you know what? And I know I've talked to so many folks and they've gone to the aisle in their local pharmacy and it's just a bombarding of products, whether it's the, the Depends, the Poise, the Always. How do I know what to choose? I was just told to get something for someone. And I've heard of so many folks that have wasted a lot of money and actually covered space not knowing what to do with the products that they have acquired and really did not fill the bill. The average bladder control pad really holds about, on the average, I'd say 300 mils, and some are a lot less than that. The protective underwear, on the average, is only about 900 mils of fluid. And the thing about protective underwear, quite a few love them because they feel secure, kind of held in nicely with the underwear. But when you actually just sort of drill down and look at it, it's really just a large pad here. And it's fine for stress incontinence. The laugh, the cough, the sneeze, that quick little oops, it works well for that. But somebody that all of a sudden has that urge incontinence, when they have to go, they have to go. I've heard so many disasters about the underwear, and that's really the need to understand, to be properly assessed, to understand the kind of incontinence and the type of product that should be worn. Now, the other one, when it comes to briefs, if you're looking in the retail market, they often absorb about 1,500 mils. But I must say, when it comes to the work that MedPro does, and you'll see with our products as well in the next few slides, ours are upwards of 4,000 and 5,000 mils for those that have really severe challenges. The type of product that you may need to wear depends on your mobility. And also, I found that sometimes during the day, folks may only need underwear, but then come nighttime, something happens when they lie horizontal and those kidneys just let loose. And it's unbelievable the amount of incontinence they can have at night. So different products at day and night is often very important too, as well. And the other factor we have to consider are behaviors. And I know with the community I work with, and a lot of the clients and loved ones do have challenging behaviors, and we'll talk about that in a moment as well. Now, Amy, can you please speak for a moment about your sampling program? Because we do understand that sampling is so important for people to change products, to know what to use, and having options, and then picking the one that best works is so vital. So Amy, may I call on you, please?
Great job, Ruth. I'm Amy Dunne from MedProDirect. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for joining us. Ruth, what I was just thinking too is pull-ups. People, they're the least absorbent, but yet they're the most expensive. So yeah, you can go through plenty of pull-ups in one day. MedProDirect offers a generous sampling program. We are specialists in this area, and we offer at least 3 different types of samples when we are sending these samples. We provide choice, which is very important. We're not just limited to a Tenna brand, a Prevail, and a Tens. We offer so much choice. We have a whole specialty line of products that you wouldn't see in a retail store. We have so many sizes, from the little person, extra small, all the way to, believe it or not, the circumference of my hands, a 94-inch waist. So we can accompany any size to help that person. We have so many products that would help anyone with maybe who has a challenging behavior, a different body type. Maybe they have a twisted torso. Maybe they have some confined legs that it's hard to change. And we have great products for those that are young and have active bladders. For example, in the assessment, we would ask questions in regards to your loved one or your client, their toileting times, their routines, their behaviors, and other challenges, offering effective solutions, which is supported through our sampling program. In this day and age, with all the new technology in the products, there really is no need to have wet beds. We follow up with the sampling, and we provide the best product for the individual need. We offer education too for the staff, for the loved one, for the family member, on best practices, correct application, which Ruth will show you shortly, and skincare management. We at MedProDirect are very proud to be partnering with Ontex, one of the world's leading manufacturers of premium quality incontinence products. We have some homes that call us and they'll say, Amy, we need the Cadillac briefs, send us the Cadillac briefs. Well, I'll tell you, these briefs have helped so many people and really providing them a better quality of life. Ruth, now if you could take a deep dive into the products, application, and best practices, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Amy. All right, I'm going to review with you now about 3 different types of products that MedPro carries, and these are the ones that they have found that have really fit the bill with their customer base, with the various clients that they have. The first one here is the InnoFit Stretch. Now, the one thing about stretch briefs, historically in the Canadian American market, is they were introduced a number of years ago with the sole purpose really of reducing the number of products needed, and I would say primarily in the long-term care world. It's so, with staffing in the large homes, it's so easy just to grab a product and to have too many products and the wrong one is being used. So by combining stretch products as a medium regular, a large extra large, or even a small medium, that way they have reduced the number of products needed. But within that, there are challenges because you're trying to make somebody fit in a product that's meant from someone down here to up here when it comes to size. And what Ontex has done, I think it's a beautiful thing, is they have made true sizing when it comes to the stretch products. You'll see on screen here that the medium and the large are the 2 sizes offered with the stretch products. And the beautiful thing about Ontex, I think it's one of those European, they just make quality products, is they list right out there for everybody to see what the absorbency of each product is. And you'll notice here the size medium absorbs 2,800 mils and the large is 3,400. So excellent absorbency on both the products, and they are true to size. The other thing is, as you open it up here, the ears are fully stretchable, and that just allows for a beautiful range of motion. And for those that are harder to fit with maybe an awkward body type, it really does fit well. And because the fit is excellent, you are getting excellent containment as well. And you do have that stretch comfort. And that is medium and large. The next product I'd like to review, so I'll go back here again. Right. The next one I'd like to mention to you, and this is, I mentioned earlier, the Lil, which has been a steady Eddie, their Cadillac, for a number of years. And it comes in, as you can see here, 4 sizes. Again, the absorbency is mentioned. It is mentioned right there listed. The extra large does hold over 4 liters. The large is 3,500. So phenomenal absorbency. Now, what I like to do is to actually model. I've always wanted to be a model, so here's my opportunity. I'm going to model for you the application of, or putting on the large brief on me. And to do that, I'm actually going to move my screen down and tilt it. So I hope you can all see, and if not, please let me know, Amy or Jane. And I hope this works here. All right, so here I have my product. I find it helpful, if possible, and I know this is one of those dreams, if you can do it, great, but so often our clients, our loved ones won't allow for it. But if the product can be folded like so before it goes on, so much the better. It just allows for this beautiful top sheet to be placed as close as possible to the perineum. So here I have it. I'm going to put it right up here on me, and trusting you can all see this. I'm going blind here, but I'm just gonna open the little tabs, close them up here, and I always like to give them a little bit of a push here to make sure they have adhered well to the product. And there, I plopped it on, and people look at it and think, wow, that looks pretty good. But if I turn around here, you can see that it is wide open, and there's a good chance, well, most likely chance for oozing, and there's going to be huge containment issues. So one piece of advice I do like to give for those applying the product is, if possible, bottom tabs up and top tabs down. You may be crossing over here, that's okay. But in general, just think bottoms up and top down. And if I turn around again, you'll see it's a much better fit. It just takes it right in. It's almost a custom fit when you do that. Now, people, when I do this kind of a demo, I do try to use a large one, even despite the quarantine 15 challenges going on right now. But if I look here, it might look all right, but really there is a good 2 or 3 inches of extra space here. And the size is vital to a quality fit, so it allows for absorption without having any leakage issues. This one here is actually far too large. I will have problems if I were to wear this one at night, even though to the eye it looks all right. The idea is that just one finger around the groin here is all you need, not a good span of this is what I have. And then once the voiding happens, it's just going to further accentuate that. The other key to know if a product is sized correctly is, am I doing the tabs up on the middle panel here? And the answer is yes. We want the products to do up on the hips, right here on the hip bones, or even a little bit behind is fine. So if I do just that and plop it here on my hips, and this one as well, this side, you can see here now how large a person can actually fit into the large product. And you'll notice here, here's the front panel, and that's where I was fastening it, and it should be done over here on the hips. So for me, I would need to scale down to a medium size. I'm going to move myself back up here and take off the product. So yes, very important. I find that on day shift, it's quite easy to get the right size on a client, but come evening and nights, if there's changes involved, that's when it's very, I don't say tempting, or you're drawn to grab a larger product because it's easier to put on somebody if they're just lying in bed, and it's often awkward. But by taking the extra few seconds to get the right size is very, very important. Now, the gold moment, it's actually a good color, it's almost a gold color, is our Maxi Prime. And again, we've listed for you, this is our number 10, you can see the droplets there was 10 drops. The medium size holds over 4 liters and the large is almost 5 liters. So here I have my jars, my liter jars. Just imagine over 4 of these for the medium, and actually 5 of them is what the large size contains. So this is really a thing of beauty when it comes to those that have had incontinence challenges. And I find at nighttime, it has been just the most wonderful thing, especially for loved ones caring for their folks, or in a home setting as well. Now the beauty of the product is you have all the same features: the inner leg cuff, the soft, the whisking away of the fluid right away into the core, so it leaves that skin beautiful and dry, so you don't have any skin integrity challenges. And the thing is, if you have somebody with behaviors, and that's so common, I know, and you know better than I do, you can leave them longer undisturbed. And we know that sleep hygiene, a good night's sleep, is vital even for behaviors the next day. And by having a product like this, when there is severe challenges, it really is very helpful. And again, breathability is here. Now, Jayne, I know that you've been carrying this for a while now and have heard some very favorable results. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ruth. Yeah, since introducing the Maxi Prime to the Canadian marketplace just a little over 2 years ago, over the 15 years that Amy and I have been assessing individuals and working with family, there are a few challenges that we just couldn't solve, meaning that people were having wet beds, and we just couldn't find anything that could contain through the night. As Amy said, we work with a lot of clients that have younger bladders, and this product has just made the world of difference. We had clients that were having to wear 2 products at night, and now this is working for them. No wet beds, no wet clothing, you know, limiting the laundry. It's really made a world of difference. And now we're just hoping that we can get an extra large in it.
I know, thank you. And I've worked for several manufacturers, and I tell you, this has been my dream product, because over the years I have heard of so many challenges, and I really did not have a solution, but now I do, thanks to the ID line and Ontex. A few tips for success before I just go on here, and that I've already mentioned the absorbency and being assessed for the correct level of absorbency is vital, and that's what Amy was speaking to, and they certainly do that well. So you're not over or under spec. We don't want any of those wet beds. And I showed you with my demo the importance of size. If it is too large, the chances for leakage are huge. So really, right size is vital. And again, I mean, it goes without saying, if there's leakage, then we then have laundry issues, more time challenges. Often it involves bathing somebody, and that all is time and money. And the correct application, just a finger's width around the groin, getting it up close and personal, and the bottom up, top down tabs certainly helps with the containment of the product. Now, I mentioned earlier, the idea of forming the gutter here, if possible, really does help with releasing the inner leg cuffs, but I also know that is not always feasible depending on the clientele. Something I have seen over the years, and it's one of those, I think, easy to do little exercise, it's almost like flicking a tea towel. And I've seen staff take a product and flick it, just sort of whip it, in an attempt to open up the panels and whatnot before they apply it. I strongly discourage anything like that, because what it does is it dislodges all the beautifully and perfectly placed innards of the product, and it can't be as absorbent, or it can just move some of the vital parts around. So open it, take that extra second just to open the tabs or the ears well, please. Something else I've seen, and this might be helpful, I know even just with children, it's very easy to put cream and do great peri-care, put cream on the whole perineal area, and then you have a gloved hand with cream, and what do you do? And I've seen a lot of staff just take their gloved hand and just go like that and wipe it off. But where do they wipe it? It's right on the core of the product, at the very spot where you want the power of the brief to do its work. And what that lotion, or I don't know if anyone uses powders anymore, but what that lotion will do is it just blocks all those millions of little holes, so the product cannot be absorbent like it should be. It's almost water off a duck's back. The fluid is just then trying to find a way into the product. So we want to allow quick absorbency through the product. So if you have to clean off your gloved hand with lotion, do it up in the back corner, somewhere where you're not going to inhibit the workability of the product. I've been at several sites, and out of frustration and just the challenges at night, I have seen a lot of double padding over the years. Now, what double padding does, it might make the person applying the products feel better that they're doing a great job, but really the product on the outside is simply just holding the inner product in place. We're also providing a very beautiful environment for just a warm, moist environment for UTIs. We don't want to see any double padding. The breathability of the product, which is by design, is then stopped because you've got two products and it's too much warmth, too much bulk. And then I've also seen at times staff just take out the one product and leave the other one. And then as a result, I've seen a lot of skin damage and shearing from the most gentle part, where we need to be most gentle and careful with our clients. So one product, double padding is unnecessary if they are assessed well. And that's again where MedPro comes in to do that well, so we can get away from anything like that. And I should also add here, if you have any challenges, clients, loved ones that don't fit the norm, I know most of us, we're all unique, but do call MedPro or let me know too, because we've seen so much in our tenure of working around the country and different places, just with so much access to feedback, that we'd love to brainstorm with you if you are having any challenges. Now, over the years, I have worked in literally hundreds of different places and different home settings, and I've been bombarded with at least one or two just challenges in every site I've gone to, at least one or two or more. I'd say about 5%. And that is the challenge of behaviors, challenging behaviors. If only so-and-so wouldn't take off their brief at night. I've seen feces on the wall, the bed rails have been a mess, the need for showering individuals. I remember going into one room and the lady had literally picked all the little white fluff, picked the core right out, and it looked like a movie set on the bed beside her, just all that snow was there. So the question I asked myself was, what can we do to eliminate or just minimize these kinds of behaviors? Because I can't help it, they're just getting their hands in. And what I've come up with is what's called Zipper-On, and it's new to the market. You're one of the first actually out there to hear about this, and Jayne kindly asked me to please mention Zipper-On because she's seen how this could really be advantageous. And I'll show this to you right here. The one on the picture there is a more of a maroon color, and this is the blue. And what Zipper-On is, it was designed primarily for the challenge with behaviors, and since then I've seen actually other great applications for it. But it is a one-piece outfit, and with your coats or any zippers that you're wearing, the zippers do up at the top here. This is where you undo it. But with Zipper-On, it's the opposite. The zipper does up here, and then you do it down. You have to do it up down ways instead of up. And there's four zippers that actually converge right at the crotch. So once the client is wearing the product, it is so easy to do care. You are not disturbing any of their upper body, unzipping anywhere else, or taking off pants, or for those that are just wearing like a hospital gown idea, they can wear something cozy, and it allows easy access. Simply undo the zippers needed, do the care, and then fasten it back up. If anybody has any dressings being done anywhere on their body, any wounds, you just undo it to where you need to and quickly do it up. So it's been a beautiful solution for many. Now the tag here, as you'll see here, is Zipper-On, and it allows room here for name and a room number if that's important. It's available in sizes extra small through tall. And the one thing it does too, it stops folks from undoing, because it takes them a while to figure that out, and getting their hands down. So by using this, their product is staying in place, and that's where I've heard so many favorable reports about just how wonderful it is for that reason. And if you'd like to take a picture of the screen, you can. It's Ruth@zipperon.com. My number is there, and I'd be happy to speak to you about sizing and different aspects of it. The website is in the being made right now. So stay tuned. And I'm going to pass it over now to Amy, please, to talk about the funding, all important funding.
Well, thanks so much, Ruth. And I love your product. I'm really excited, looking forward to seeing it in some of our homes. I know it can really make a difference. I'm not sure if you can actually see this, but I did grab an MSN form. I'll just go through. Oh, here we go. That's what an MSN form looks like. But for the past 15 years, we have been working with all the ODSP offices across the province. I used to be afraid of calling ODSP, but they're my friend. I have made some excellent relationships, and we have a great team here at MedProDirect. What we do is, and I'll go through the MSN process with you. So MSN, or Mandatory Special Necessities, it is funding between the ages of 18 to 65 years old. This is funding for incontinence products and personal needs products. You may have families that may be attending a day program that you're working with that may have never heard of what MSN is. We're actually seeing quite a few new people coming into the community living group homes who may have been living with their parents, and their parents are aging, and their parents didn't know that there was this funding available. What we can do, we can help those families, and we can definitely help your person with the MSN process. What we would do first is we would advise the client to obtain an MSN form from the caseworker. MedProDirect works closely with the client and the care staff to provide an assessment based on your loved one's needs. We provide samples based on this assessment. We would then communicate back to the home to see what was working best. From this assessment, we would then put together a quote, and this quote would be based on a 24-hour usage of all the products, of the pull-ups, and maybe they're using night briefs and incontinence wipes. There are many items that are covered through the MSN funding. These items are Pericare, creams and lotions, incontinence wipes, disposable underpads, catheters, leg bags, gloves, ostomy, ileostomy, they're even covering some reusable, washable containment briefs, which is a really good thing. We also look at current coverage to make sure your clients are receiving enough money, to make sure those families that are buying supplies for their loved ones are receiving enough funds. We complete audits for many of our agencies. They may ask Jayne and I to complete an audit. Sometimes it could be once a year, maybe twice a year. And we also do that for anyone that maybe their needs have changed. Maybe all of a sudden someone is requiring a product and they're applying for the first time. We have an excellent team here at MedProDirect, and they stay on top of the application process. Once we receive an approval letter, so once it is approved, the caseworker will send an approval to the client at their home and also to the vendor. When we receive this approval, we contact that person right away, and then we set up a monthly standard order. The products are shipped out once a month. This really helps eliminate any wrong products being shipped. The items come labeled, and then the home knows that the products are coming. They can count on us, and so we take the worry away from the caregiver. MedProDirect, we work with third parties as well, such as insurance companies, PG, Public Guardian and Trustees, Blue Cross, and Veteran Affairs, just to name a few. And now what we'll do is, Jayne, if you would like to take us to any questions, if anyone has any questions out there.
Thanks, Amy. Yes, I do. There are a number of questions, and I'll direct them to you. Before we get to the questions, the screen here has our contact information. If anybody else would like further information, or if we haven't covered something that you'd like to know about, don't hesitate to contact us, email or phone. So here's the first question, and I'll direct this to you, Amy. The question is, our staff is using an underwear product with the addition of the bladder control pad. I find this very hot. Would briefs be best for her?
Well, a couple of things. First, I would ask if that person is mobile. Is that person walking around? Is that person actually able to toilet themselves or with some assistance? I would try to keep them in a protective underwear, keep them in a pull-up, but what we need to do is double check the sizing and maybe provide a more absorbent pull-up. We do offer overnight pull-ups and extended use pull-ups that you may not have tried, and we would be happy to send samples your way and see if that makes a difference. But before changing them into a brief, a 4-tab, a diaper style product, we want to make sure that we're still giving them the best product for their mobility and for just to make them feel overall comfortable.
Okay, thanks. That's good information, Amy. Here's another question. Ruth, I'll direct this to you. What is the cost range of the zipper-on product?
The one I'm showing today, it's sort of a winter cozy 50-50 blend, almost like a nice cozy sweatshirt, and they're $120 each. Now, most folks are finding that they like two because it's a wash and wear. They have one there and then a spare. And with there's shipping with purchasing one, 2 or more, shipping is free within Canada. So 120 plus tax and then shipping or not.
Okay, thanks, Ruth. I have 2 more questions, Amy, and I'm going to throw them over to you. They're both similarly related to the funding piece. The first question is there funding for people who are 16 years old?
Yes, there is. There is funding for those under the age of 18. There's 2 types of funding. They can receive funding through the March of Dimes. Unfortunately, it's not that much funding, but there is funding there through the March of Dimes. I do have some contacts. If you can please email me or call me and I will provide you contacts. I have contacts depending where you're living through Southwestern Ontario, Central, so I can help you with that. And then also Easter Seals. Easter Seals provides funding. I think they actually offer a bursary. It's a grant. It's about $1,000 and you can receive funding that way. And we actually have had some success with applying for ODSP funding for some people that are 16 years of age and they have qualified for that. So it's something we can look at.
Okay, great. The second part is from another individual, but is there funding for people that are over 65?
There should be. Unfortunately, there isn't. And it is sad because at this time, especially our seniors, many of them aren't receiving, their needs, maybe their needs are worsening and they need something more absorbent or they're going through more products. Unfortunately, the mandatory special necessities funding is removed at the age of 65. And then at that time, if the client is finding maybe they need an alternative where we can sample them and try to find something a little more cost effective for them. But unfortunately, the funding is removed at 65.
Okay, thank you. I think I can answer this question. It says, do you have actual brief looking ones that are similar to what Depends look like, an underwear look? And yes, we certainly do. We have a men's and women's line of protective underwear that look more like your regular underwear. Like I say, we have 48 different types of protective underwear. So the sky's the limit on that one. And then we have another question here, and I'll throw this to you, Amy. Do the tabs on the Prevail briefs also need to attach at the hip? The current size of a client, the current size of a client we are wrapping around the front, and at the time the tabs actually overlap.
The brief is too big. The brief is too big, and I totally agree with Ruth. I hope you guys can hear me. Tabs should always be at the hips. Always be at the hips. I go into some of the homes. I even do a little song. crisscross applesauce. Bottom tabs should point up, top tabs should point down, giving that seal at the back that you saw Ruth graciously wear the brief. And it's a snug fit. Tabs should always be at the hips. If the tabs are not at the hips, the brief is too big. 8 out of 10 times, the size is too big. So you want to look at 3 things. 3 is the magic number. First, is it the correct size? Yeah, okay, Amy's a size large. Yes, it fits her perfect. Second, application. Do we have the bottom tabs pointing up? Do we have the top tabs pointing down? Okay, those little things. Yes, application, it fits her. We have the tabs working the right way, but she's still leaking. Then third, or absorbency. That's when we look at, okay, are you using a daytime product? Do you need an extended use product? Maybe you're someone that can use a pull-up, a protective underwear during the day, but at night, you do need something for containment, something a little more absorbent, where we could offer a brief and sample at that time. But yes, tabs should always be at the hips.
Okay, great, Amy, thank you. Okay, this question is for Ruth. Ruth, should we be waking up a client to change them throughout the night?
Cool, I'm certainly happy to answer that. I think, and best practices is showing that sleep hygiene, a good night's sleep is vital. It's so, so important. I think the days of going around at 11 and then 3 and then to change, check and change, they're almost the old days now, because the idea is I want someone to sleep well, their behaviors are minimized the next day. I know I perform so much better if I've had a good night's sleep, and that's the same principle that we certainly want to see in the world of incontinence. So really being assessed, as Amy said, and you too, Jayne, for the right quality of product so they can get a longer sleep, be in it longer, is so, so important.
Great, thanks, Ruth. Okay, I can answer this question. It is, what is the best way to start the process of an assessment and sampling product to find out what product is best? And that's just a simple phone call to MedProDirect. You can call Amy or myself, and we can easily do that over the phone and get some samples out to you. It really, it's really pretty straightforward to do that. And I have another question. This is for you, Amy. What is the best product for fecal incontinence at night?
We have many. Definitely, we would suggest a brief. We would need something for containment, so we would suggest the 4-tab brief style for that. It depends on if you also need something that's very, very absorbent. Those Cadillac briefs we were mentioning, Ruth was mentioning the ID briefs. Prevail makes a really nice overnight brief as well. Tenna has a nice overnight brief, but we would still advise you to sample a couple of varieties, because you may find one brief might be bulky, and maybe it's for someone very, very tiny that needs a lot of something for containment that's really nice on the back. The ID brief too that Ruth was mentioning is a wonderful product too for containment on the back, because it fits really nice on the back. Ruth, what do you call that when it's got that little, like a little mesh on the back? Oh, you can show us.
It's actually gathering too here. The Maxi Prime, for example, has the nice gather, so it pulls it in.
It's a really nice product. I would suggest something like that.
Can I just add in one little piece here? It just came to mind. Depending on the kind of fecal incontinence, I've seen some loved ones have mentioned to me that their person they care for does a lot of oozing and just little bits quite often, so they're changing several times because they don't want to leave them in it. So sometimes for that scenario, you may not need a hugely powerful brief because you're changing it so often. So it's trying to, again, it's that assessment and balancing out, isn't it? The fecal versus urine.
Yeah, good point.
The other comment too with fecal incontinence, you need to be changing as often as possible, which is a little challenging when it's during the night. So that's a tricky one. I have one last question here, and then we can sign off. This question I'll gear it to both Amy and Ruth. The client is currently using a tabbed brief. He is mobile, but expresses some behaviors, i.e. he's refusing to use the toilet at times. Would protective underwear still be an appropriate product for this client?
Go ahead, Amy.
I was going to say, it is a tough one. You might have good days where, oh my goodness, he's keeping the product on, it's all working, and then all of a sudden he's just pulling that pull-up off. And like I said before, the pull-ups, they're expensive. They're a very expensive product. If you start seeing you're going through, you know, more than 5 pull-ups a day, the pull-up's not working. So first tell yourself, how many is he going through during that time? And then we can maybe look at a brief option, but first look at his schedule. Is he doing this the same time? Is he only acting up on certain days? I'd look at the behaviors too to see when this is happening, and if it is spontaneous, then we would move more to a brief for containment.
And then if I could, I'll just add in there a little bit, Amy. I think it's mentioned that they're not always wanting to toilet, so then going in the product. And I would say if they're currently wearing a pull-up, they're not designed for heavy output. And if it's a healthy bladder that's just going, this may not contain it well enough. So even on those challenging days, you may want to put a brief on, because if they refuse to go, at least they're going to be well contained in the brief, as opposed to underwear. And I know in the morning, you don't often know if it's going to be a good day or a challenging day. So perhaps a brief is a better option.
Okay, thank you, Amy and Ruth. I have one last request for our contact information slide to be put back up our form. Oh, there you go.
We have it up.
Me at MedProDirect.net, and then there's our toll-free phone number. So thank you very much for attending. We had a great questions, and I hope that everybody has learned something today. Thank you very much. Bye now.